Kristen Martin here. As many of you know, I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, and so when I am in school, which I am not right now, my job is to support children in their occupations. And in school, that is the occupation of being a student, and also play. Play is a child's primary occupation. So right now, since we aren't in preschool, I am staying home with my 5 children. They range in age from 2 years old to 12 years old. So we are trying to navigate the whole schooling from home thing, trying to follow a pretty strict schedule of learning times, creative times, outdoor times, iPad times. It's been a trip this week, but we're working through it. So anyway, I just wanted to share some tips on some ways to play with some common household items. So I figured I would pop on here and do a video a few times a week just to showcase ways to play with some common household items. And so I'm going to give you 5 ways to play with each item that I present on. And the first one that we're going to talk about today is Q-tips. I'm sure that we have a box of them lying around. A lot of times they're sitting at the bottom of our sink in our bathroom. So I have come up with 5 ways to play with Q-tips that will hopefully give you some ideas for different ages, different developmental levels, things like that. So the first idea that I have is painting with Q-tips. Painting with Q-tips is really fun. You can even cut them in half just to give some extra fine motor work. You can paint with regular paint. If you don't have any regular paint in the house, your child can paint with different dips or purees. There's recipes that you can make your own paint if you look them up online. You can even paint just with water. It shows up well on construction paper, and that's definitely a mess-free option. Number 2. You can make letters or shapes with them. So you can do this in a variety of ways. You can make a shape and then have your child try and copy it, or the same with a letter or something like that. Or you can make any random design and have your child try and copy what you do. You can also do guessing games with that, where you are trying to guess the letter or the shape that your child is creating, and vice versa. Number 3, you can have a scavenger hunt with these little Q-tips. You can hide them in the living room or outside, and then you can try and take turns finding them. Kids love scavenger hunts. If kids need clues, it's a great way to work on kind of positional words like, oh, it's on top of the couch, or it's under the chair. Trying to give them clues like that and have them give you clues just to work on some of those vocabulary words. So that's a super fun activity. You can also, for tip number 4, you can push these Q-tips into containers. So you can give your child, say, an empty Parmesan cheese container, or like a baby wipes container that pops up. They fit in really nicely into those containers. You can also make this more active by having them race from one end of the room to get the Q-tip to the other end of the room where the container is. See if they can beat their speed. See if you can have competitions among siblings. My kids love competing against each other, so that's a fun way to do it. And then my last tip number 5 for using these Q-tips is to play a little game with them. So you give each person who's participating the same number of Q-tips, and then you take turns rolling a dice. If you don't have a dice, then you can just even cut up pieces of paper, write numbers on them, crumple them up, put them in a pile, and then you take turns picking numbers. That's another great way to add some fine motor skills to this activity. And then you take away however many Q-tips it says on the dice or your pieces of paper, and then whoever runs out of Q-tips first is the winner. So that's great for counting and one-to-one correspondence and all of those things. These are just a great little way to work on fine motor skills without your kids even realizing it. So I hope that gave you a couple of ideas that you can use, and I'm hoping to pop back on a few times a week talking about different household objects and some fun ways that you can play. So hope everyone's doing well, and good luck.